When a nation's defense ministry is led by a civilian, someone without a military service record, it sends a clear message: you are prioritizing the civilian oversight, political control, and democratic accountability of the armed forces. Civilian ministers are often chosen because they symbolize the principle that the military serves the state, not the other way around. The idea and ideal is central to stable, democratic, and military relationships. There are concrete practical implications of that choice. A civilian minister can strengthen parliamentary oversight, ensure defense budgets and procurement align with political priorities, and act as a political bridge between the military and society. In contexts where the military previously held outsized political influence, a civilian at the helm can help rebalance power and reassure both domestic audience and foreign partners that the armed forces answer to elected institutions. But there are limits to this. A non-military minister may lack detailed operational knowledge of modern warfare, logistics, or complex joint operations. In fast-moving crises, kidnappings, insurgent raids, or coordinated attacks, that gap can slow decision-making or make it harder to evaluate military advice quickly. It can also reduce credibility with senior officers who expect a leader who speaks their language when resources, tactics, or morale are on the line. These trade-offs matter most when a country faces acute security pressures. That was the context in late 2025 in Nigeria. The civilian minister, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, resigned amid a severe security emergency, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu named a defense minister with a military background, former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. Observers noted the change came at a moment of escalating violence and intense diplomatic scrutiny of Nigeria's security response. So, what are the likely gains from appointing a defense minister who is a military professional? On the recently retired general, firstly, operational fluency. A senior officer turned minister brings deep knowledge of force structure, theater-level operations, logistics, and the realities of command. That expertise can speed decisions in crisis and improve the technical quality of planning and procurement. It can also restore confidence among troops and mid-level commanders who often respond better to leaders they perceive as experienced and credible. Secondly, there is potential for tighter civil-military coordination. A minister who understands military culture can translate political priorities into operational direction more effectively. For example, on troop deployment, intelligence sharing, or reforms in force readiness. In some cases, foreign partners may also find it easier to coordinate security assistance when the minister has recent professional relationship with military counterparts. But this path carries risk too. Appointing a military general as defense minister can blur the line between civilian leadership and military influence. Scholars warn that regular appointment of ex-officers into senior political defense roles risk politicizing the military, encouraging officers to cultivate political ties for post-service careers, and even elevating the military's role in policy making at the expense of civilian institutions. In short, the technical benefits must be weighed against the long-term institutional costs to democratic civilian control. There are also practical accountability questions. Civilian ministers are typically embedded in party politics, parliamentary scrutiny, and political accountability mechanisms. A former officer in a high political role needs strong, transparent checks, parliamentary committees, independent audit of procurement, and clear legal boundaries to prevent undue influence or back-channel authority that step-size normal oversight. What does this mean for Nigeria's security in the near future? Practically, it likely means faster operational decisions, a push to recognize or prioritize resources, and perhaps a more forceful military posture against insurgents and bandits that can produce short-term gains, improved coordination, quicker deployments, and clearer military direction, but without robust civilian checks and a parallel focus on policing, intelligence reform, and community-based security. Military fixes alone won't solve the root cause of insecurity. Finally, a note on international influence. Some reporting suggested external partners were urging stronger action on Nigeria's insecurity, which may have shaped political calculations. Whether those pressures came from a specific foreign leader or from a broad coalition of partners, the important point is this: international concern can push a government towards leaders who offer operational credibility, but policy choices must still balance short-term operational effectiveness with long-term democratic safeguards. Use the word allegedly if you prefer to discredit claims about who pressured whom into appointing a minister with a military background. So the bottom line, a civilian defense minister strengthens democratic norms and political oversight, but risks operational distance in moments of crisis. A defense minister with a military background brings operational know-how, credibility, and speed, but also risks eroding the civilian authority that underpins democratic stability. The ideal and the hardest to achieve is a balance. Professional military advice, accountable civilian decision-making, and institutions strong enough to hold both the public interests. When the balance is struck, national security and democratic governance both stand a better chance of succeeding. At this point, we just want to say thank you to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for listening to the voice and pleas of the people either in the country or at the global stage for appointing a defense minister with a strong, verifiable military background. Thank you.